Ladies and gentlemen, on today's show, we are joined by Bobby Reynolds, the Senior Vice President of Booking for AEG. Well, who's AEG? AEG is the organization responsible for booking big-time artists like Alicia Keys, Jim Gaffigan, Paul McCartney, Billy Joel, Blake Shelton, Bone Thugs and Harmony, Bon Jovi, Nelly, T-Pain, and artists you know. And now, without any further ado, the Senior Vice President of Booking for AEG, Bobby Reynolds!
Get ready to enter the Thrive Time Show.
We started from the bottom, now we here. We started from the bottom, and we'll show you how to get here. Started from the bottom, now we here. We started from the bottom, now we here.
We started from the bottom, now we're on the top. Teaching you the systems to get what we got. Colton Dixon's on the hooks, I break down the books. Z's bringing some wisdom and the good looks. As the father of five, that's why I'm alive. So if you see my wife and kids, please tell them hi. It's the C&Z up on your radio. And now 3, 2, 1, here we go!
We started from the bottom, now we here. We started from the bottom, and we'll show you how to get here.
Yes, 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 and yes. Thrive Nation, on today's show, we have an incredible guest. This guy is the Senior Vice President of Booking for AEG, Bobby Reynolds. Welcome on to the Thrive Time Show. How are you, sir?
I'm doing very well. Thanks so much for having me.
Hey, Bobby, I think a lot of our listeners out there are aware of what it means to book things, but they maybe are not aware of what A and E and G stands for. What is AEG?
AEG, I work for AEG Presents. AEG is the parent company. AEG stands for Anschutz Entertainment Group. So we are a privately held company owned by Mr. Anschutz based out of Denver, Colorado. We also, probably the more brand names you might be familiar with, AEG owns and operates the Staples Center and all of LA Live in downtown Los Angeles, as well as the LA Kings who play there. So AEG Presents was formed out of that brainchild.
So, as the Senior Vice President of Booking, what do you do during your day?
Well, it's a mixed bag. So I'm a Senior Vice President for AEG Presents Las Vegas. I run our business here. And our business here is to produce predominantly resident shows at different hotel and integrated resorts here in Las Vegas. So a lot of guys that do what I do around the country, they'll look to book a band or 2 or 3 at a certain venue, big or small, for a night or 2. It's a pretty, so we call one-off concerts, and that's pretty turn and burn type business. Another sector of my business is touring, where a lot of big artists have a national or worldwide tour promoter, and they take a touring artist and they have one integrated team that works with them throughout their touring endeavors throughout the U.S. or the world, like I was saying. We do a bit of a hybrid of that. So we work with different artists, place them at different integrated resorts around the Las Vegas Valley, and we produce runs of shows with these artists. So it's Celine Dion. She is the kind of the inventor of the modern day headlining resident model that has spawned opportunities for many, many, many other artists of all shapes and sizes. But in all fairness, it was my boss that had this idea and had this concept and gave it a shot nearly 20 years ago at Caesar's Palace.
Wow.
And since then, we've taken that mindset and worked different iterations with different artists on what it means to be a resident in Las Vegas. We've also expanded our portfolio of venues so that we have really something to offer everyone, whether it's a more intimate theater, a smaller theater like at the Encore Theater at Wynn, whether it's a big rock show, which we produce over at the Joint at the Hard Rock, and of course the Coliseum at Caesar's Palace is a place we worked with for years, and we often try to expand our portfolio of venues and artists that we work with to try to bring this residency model to there's a whole bunch of people that have all different tastes. And certainly with 42 million visitors a year to Las Vegas, there really is something for everyone to do.
So you do interact with the artists, like do you interact with comedians like Jim Gaffigan or artists like Brian McKnight directly?
Yeah, of course. That's certainly the question I get asked a lot. But yeah, it's important for us to interact with our clients, like it is in any business for that matter. You know, the day-to-day interactions happen with their managers or their agents. But when the artist is our guest at one of our partners' hotels, of course we interact with them. We want to make sure they're having a good time, that their rooms are good, that the food is good, that they, on an off night, have tickets to go see a show they want to go see. If their families are in town, what are they doing? How can we give them a better experience? That's our meat and potatoes. So we need to make sure those artists are happy and taken care of and looked after.
I am not going to ask you for any questions that you can't answer, obviously. But with you work with so many big personalities. Is there a certain personality that strikes you as being the funniest person, the funniest comedian, the funniest person? Where you just thought to yourself, I cannot stop laughing right now, even though I'm trying to be serious. This person is so funny.
That's a really good question. To that, I mean, look, the comedians that we work with, and the other question I get asked, who is the most difficult artist you work with? People want to hear those things. I would say the artists that we work with, these are proven artists, whether they're comedians or whether they're in bands or singers. These are proven people, and they've been around it for a long time. In my opinion, the two comedians that really make me laugh a ton, Sebastian Maniscalco and Jim Gaffigan. Those are two artists that we do residencies with at the Wynn, at the Encore Theater at the Wynn. And there's just something about those two guys, and I might even throw Joe Coy into that mix. It just seems like whatever they say is funny. They just have a way of delivering. You know, they're not trying to be serious, and I'm laughing at them, but we're having a conversation. They say something, and you just can't help but to laugh. They just have a real comedic way about speaking and presenting themselves that it's clear how they became comedians because it comes so natural to them.
What is your favorite sports team in the NFL? Do you have a favorite team?
Yeah, you know what? I grew up in New York, and my favorite sports team is the Raiders.
Do you remember Jim Mora, the coach of the Saints? Do you remember that guy, Jim Mora?
Yeah, of course.
One thing about him that was so funny is that whenever he was trying not to be funny, he was at his funniest. I don't know if you remember the sound clip, but this is Jim Mora.
Playoffs? Don't talk about it. Playoffs? You kidding me?
Absolutely.
Playoffs? I just hope we can win a game.
And he's like furious, and he's trying to be serious. And every time he gets
that and Allen Iverson talking about practicing are probably the two most famous sports clips.
Yeah. Okay. So now you have obviously you've worked super hard to get where you are, and you've had some awesome opportunities that I believe you've created as a result of that work ethic. Tell us how you started out, man. Tell us your story. We love to talk about from the bottom to the top. Where was your bottom? Where did you start?
Yeah. So I was born and raised just outside of New York City, and at 17 years old, the guy that I knew, a friend of my family, they bought a nightclub in Midtown Manhattan called the Ritz. And I definitely wasn't young enough to be in there. I wasn't young enough to drive into the city from where I grew up. But, I mean, 3 or 4 nights a week, I would drive, while I was still in high school, I would drive into the city many times behind my parents' back and would go work at this venue, and it was just a way for me to make some pocket money. I never really thought about the business behind music. I was just a consumer of music at the time. I would go to a concert, or I'd buy my tapes, and that's all I really knew of music. I was a consumer, and I was a fan of it. But as I started to go to this club and I mean, do anything, right? I'd be a bar back, I'd be a bartender, I'd be a security guard, I'd be a production runner. Whatever I needed to do that day, I would do it. And it was one of those things that didn't feel like work. I mean, I caddied, I delivered pizzas, I worked in delis. I did a lot of things that felt like work. This was one that didn't. And I really recognized that there was a business behind music. So that was my senior year in high school. From there, I went to small, actually military university in Vermont. And when I was younger, I was probably more of a procrastinator, and there were 2 options for my work-study program to earn money towards tuition. One was washing dishes. The other was being in student activities. And I didn't know what it was, but student activities sounded a lot better than washing dishes. And come to find out, student activities was to work with cultivating entertainment around the campus. And I'm like, well, that's pretty cool, because I was just kind of working in entertainment at the lowest level this past summer. So I started bringing movies to the theater on campus, then bringing comedians, and then I finally brought a band up to this university, and it was just something, again, that I would skip class on to sit in an office as a freshman and book shows. And that was really my education. That's, I think, really where I knew there was a business behind doing live events. After that, after college, I interned at a booking agency and then got a job working for, at the time, this tiny little company called House of Blues, which was, I think, building their 4th venue in the U.S. at the time in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina.
Yeah.
And I moved down there and went to go work for House of Blues. And, that was over 20 years ago now. And since then, that company is, blown up. They got bought by Live Nation, and, that company's changed a lot. But that was kind of the early steps that I took towards this career.
When you go to aegpresents.com and you check out aegpresents.com, and you click on artists, I have a conspiracy theory, kind of an Illuminati theory here. It looks as though you've basically just taken the names of every person that everyone knows, and that's who you work with. Alicia Keys, Alice Cooper, and we're just on the A's, by the way. We're going into the, and I'm skipping on Alison Krauss. You go, Amy Grant. This is just on the A's, folks. And if we keep going, it's going, have you booked everybody? It seems like, who's the artist, and I'm not asking for your favorite artist. I'm just asking, who's the artist where you met them and you said to yourself, again, Bad Company, we're talking about, just unbelievable. Who's the artist that you met with where you thought to yourself, what am I doing? This is awesome.
Well, probably the pinch me moment that I had was working with Paul McCartney.
Oh.
He was in this little band called the Beatles way back when.
Right.
We opened up the Joint at the Hard Rock Hotel and Casino is one of our clients. And opening week, we had the Killers, Paul McCartney, Bon Jovi, and Kenny Chesney.
No, you didn't. Oh, that is sick. That is so
getting
good.
to being in a dressing room, but the size of my office, and sitting in there with Paul and his agent and some of the executives from the Hard Rock and my bosses, that was definitely one of those, man, what am I doing here? This is over my head.
I got a funny story for you. When I went to college at Oral Roberts University, the guy who lived across the hall from me and who got to be a good friend of mine, his name is Ryan Tedder. And he's now obviously the front man for the group One Republic. And I remember him saying that he was going to write a song someday for U2 and Paul McCartney. He was going to do it. And now if you Google search Ryan Tedder, he's won Grammys and written for Taylor Swift and McCartney. And there's just so many huge artists that he's written for. Have you kind of made a list of people that you're going, I will book them for AEG? It's going to happen. Do you have that list?
List going. I'm sure it'll all come to fruition one day. But I don't spend a lot of time chasing those things down. I spend a lot of time focusing on the tasks at hand.
Got it.
And focus on the things in front of me. Otherwise, you just get caught up in a little too much personal taste and maybe cut the wrong deal. But I'm super satisfied with the artists that we work with. It's
crazy. Nelly. Now, by the way, are you a master cold caller? Are you the master of cold calling?
I used to be. It's something I haven't flexed that muscle in quite some time. And again, part of that is we work with some of the best resorts in the world.
Yeah, you do.
We work with so many great partners, whether it's at MGM, Wynn, Hard Rock, which will turn into a Virgin Hotel and Casino in the very near future. All these different places in Las Vegas that stand for excellence and have their own niche, right? So the Hard Rock is the rock and roll place, and Wynn is the very sophisticated, high-end type feel, and all of our partners play a different role. What I don't spend much time doing anymore is working with small acts and in small rooms. It's something that I did earlier in my career.
But you want to do it again.
Your guy at House of Blues, I would do a lot of calling and trying to get this band in or that band in or things like that. Oftentimes, I'll get bands cold calling me. So when someone wants to get booked and they see my name in the paper or hear my name somewhere and they give me a call and try to get in. I think some people are probably dismissive of those folks, but I certainly remember when I was the guy on the other side of that call, and I always take their calls and try to give them good advice, or if they sound great, then I try to work with them.
You know, there's something kind of sexy about cold calling. I mean, don't you really? I mean, in a secret,
time.
dark place of your soul, don't you want to just pick up the phone and cold call some people tonight?
Yeah, I mean that's like it's one of those things where when I was younger, I was never intimidated by doing it. I think
Yes.
it was just part of my personality, and I actually liked it. You know,
I know.
It was something that was fun.
I like it.
Again, we have so much stuff going on right here that is the task at hand. Cold calling is something I don't do much anymore.
Oh,
but
man.
if I ever had to do it again, I think I'm pretty sure I would jump right back into it with ease.
I feel like you guys at AEG should have a cold calling Olympics over there at the Win Encore, and you get your best guys who are now at the top, who used to start off at the bottom, and you guys cold call and see who can close a deal first. That I would pay to watch that show. Now at the Win,
that would be a pretty good reality show, actually, right?
I'm serious. The art of the cold call. Now you, the Win Encore Theater recently was recognized for doing some incredible stuff, being one of the top 10 highest grossing venues globally in 2019, under 5,000 seats, and you guys bring the artists in there. Am I correct?
Yeah. So we have a deal with the Win, and
Super cool.
exclusively bring the artists in there, which means we are the promoters that the Win chooses to work with. And
It's awesome.
it was a relationship that started a few years ago with Mr. Win himself, and has continued to flourish. The most impressive thing about that, a venue under 5,000 in capacity, to be the 10th in the world, it's amazing. It's an incredible accolade.
Yeah.
And you know, me and my team and the team over at the Win all deserve some praise on that. But when you think about the Win, the Encore Theater only has 1,480 seats. So there are many, many, many other theaters
Right.
that are between 1,500 and 5,000 that didn't make that list. So, I mean, this next comment is certainly not a scientific one, but we'd be the highest grossing theater in the world under 2,000 or 3,000 capacity. If I'm not mistaken, under 4,000 capacity too. So we're working with a much, much less significant capacity, and truly through the efforts of my team and the brand recognition over at the Win, just the way you get treated there. Things at the Win just are a little bit more expensive. Drinks are more expensive, food's more expensive, rooms are more expensive, concert tickets are more expensive. Why is that? Well, because when you go there, you get treated impeccably well. The service is great. It's clean. It's not smoky. Everyone, all the staff is very welcoming and want to help you. People in Las Vegas will pay more money for a good experience.
Yeah, they will.
We've proven that. And we do it in a really, really top-notch way. And I don't mean we're pretty good at it. I mean we are the best in the world at it. And that's something that I feel good about saying. It's an act. It's really a nice point to mention. And again, I'm not the guy. You know, people don't know who books the shows. I'm just someone that sits at a desk and hustles and gets shows in there. What allows us to do what we do, the team at the Win, all the front of house staff, the people that the customers interact with, that sets the tone. So as soon as you walk onto that property, you know you're in a high-class place. And then when you walk into the theater, it's beautiful. I didn't design the hallway as you walk in. The Win did. The Win designed the theater. Everything about it is pristine. What we did was recognize that, and we brought our model to the folks at the Win and said, hey, can we have a shot doing this? If it doesn't work, then we lose money with you. If it does work, geez, we'd love to be your partners. And that was about, 3 years and a few hundred shows ago.
Bobby, final question for you. I want to respect your time here. It's 24 hours before Bieber takes the stage. 24 hours before Jim Gaffigan takes the stage. What are your responsibilities?
Well, I always say, if I'm really busy at one of the shows, then something got messed up. My responsibility is 24 hours out is just to make sure my team has everything they need to get their job done right. Make sure the artist is happy. Make sure the sound and the lights are all working well. Make sure the venue is ready to host this artist. What can we do to put a unique spin on things? What can I send to the artist room to to make him or her smile when they get in there, or have a memory, or stimulate some sort of one of their senses to have extra fun. That's really what it's all about. And I like to think at this point in my career, to my tenure, we have the team on hand that just organically and instinctively does that kind of stuff. Because if I had to worry about that stuff every 24 hours, I would drive myself crazy.
Bobby, I appreciate you so much for joining us today, man. And congratulations to the entire team at AEG and all the success you guys are having. Is there an ask that you would have of all of our listeners? We have about 500,000 folks that listen to the show each and every week. Is there a certain website you want them to visit? Is there an action step you want them to take? What's the ask you would have for all of our listeners?
Well, I think for all of the listeners, whether it's an AEG show or not, go see a concert. Go support live entertainment. Go support live music. Go see a comedian. And, geez, if you're ever in Las Vegas, come see one of our shows. But it really is good to support the arts, to support live entertainment, and not only for the artist and not for any sort of, philanthropic endeavor, but to go have a good night out with your buddies or a good night out with your better half and go make some memories.
I 100% agree. Bobby, I thank you for your time. I hope you have a great rest of your day.
Great, you too. Thanks so much.
And now, without any further ado, 3, 2, 1, boom! What if you could gain access to download each and every book that I've ever written for free?
Well, that'd be terrible, because I don't like you.
Okay, we're making a big assumption here. But assuming that you do like me and you like the Thrive Time Show, you can now go to thrivetimeshow.com/free-resources. That's thrivetimeshow.com/free-resources to download each and every book that I've ever written for free. You can download the ebook version of each and every book that I've ever written for free.
Clay, I just want to chime in here real quick. I don't like you or capitalism. I feel like we should all get free stuff.
Well, I am in the process of explaining where you can get free stuff. And you can now also download all the helpful infographics. There's infographics on Firing 101, the perfect hiring system, the principles from Ray Dalio, Internet Marketing 101, the Lead Bin Management System, Managing Humans 101, Logo Creation 101, Why Google Loves WordPress, Time Management 101. We also have an incredible infographic about the importance of calling your leads often, because the average person no longer answers their phone unless they are called multiple times and unless they receive a text from you. We also have the importance of File Nomenclature 101, Sales Lead Conversion 101, and much, much more. And it's all available for you to download for free right now by going to thrivetimeshow.com.
Are you suggesting that I should have to move my body?
Yes.
This is for free. Isn't there a way you could just beam it? I mean, why do I have to move my body?
Because
typing causes me anxiety.
Whatever.
Which is why I would never go to thrivetimeshow.com.
Come on.
/free-resources. I would never go to thrivetimeshow.com. /free-resources.
All right, let me clarify. If you have the capacity to move your fingers, go to thrivetimeshow.com /free-resources to download an ebook version of every single Amazon best-selling book I've ever written and all the infographics that have the power to change your life.